there has to be this relentless pursuit of success. It's just not going to fall into your lap.
The strategy of getting to $10,000 a month is easy. The work that it takes to get there isn't.
The point of a business is not to make money, it's to be the solution to somebody's problem. But it doesn't really sink in until you start to realize that you
cannot rely on any outside motivation. It all has to come from internal. And I can tell you what my default is that when it gets tough, you have two choices. You cower or you buckle down. And for myself, I can tell you that the first thing I do is go.
All right, welcome back to episode 12 of Business, Brains, and Bronze. I'm here joined by Taylor Moore, Mike Croson, and myself, Nick Justice. Gentlemen, we are all in different scenes today. We're not in the office, really. So how are we doing? How are the last 7 days since our last podcast?
Good, man. I'll take it. We had the True Coach event this weekend at AR Funnels headquarters, so that was really good. I thought it went super well. A lot of knowledge, man. A lot of knowledge being, and it was it was funny because a lot of it wasn't actual X's and O's of business. I was thinking back on like all the different lectures and stuff, Mike. It was like it wasn't a lot of X's and O's of coaching, and it wasn't a lot of X's and O's of business, but more so how those two things integrate. Which I don't know if anyone was planning on, but that's kind of how it worked out, and like it ended up being exactly what we wanted it to be. So.
I thought it went really well. We had some great minds there. Mike White, Dom Kuza. I spoke. My partner Baker spoke. Taylor spoke.
Jerome.
Paul spoke. Will Jerome spoke. So it was really balanced. Overall, I thought it was really good. Young group of guys, hungry. So it was awesome to see. And anytime you get somebody in person, man, it just sounds that much more impactful. And so for us to be able to do that was really cool. I mean, I loved it because we had last week's event that was very intimate, less than 20 people. This one too. I told the team this morning on our leadership call that I think that we should have it to where every single person that signs up with AR gets to come in person for free.
I like that.
And it's like, we're going to do it once a quarter to start, but it's like everybody that's on the last 90 days, hey, you get to come out. And instead of making you watch a course, I'm going to teach it to you in person. You can ask questions. I mean, like, no one's doing that. And for us, it's like, there's a big correlation to success and sticking with the platform. And it's, are you doing the things required? The question becomes is, okay, so do you know what to do? We can't have one-on-one calls with every single person and go through the business and teach them. And I can't force you to watch a course. But if you have an opportunity to come in person and learn, you'll probably take it.
You also don't go ahead.
I was going to say, it's just a rare opportunity, especially inside this space. And so I think it would be really beneficial to a lot of those coaches to come in, shake some hands, network with people, and learn what you need to do going forward.
I also think it's a different energy when you're in person versus watching a course, right? Like every time I come to AR, I'm hyped up. I'm ready to go for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after. And it's like, I just think it's different. And honestly, like, Baker asked if I wanted to come to the workshop this week with you guys. And I wanted to, like, I told Grayson, I was like, man, I really want to go because every time I go, I feel like I just pick up more momentum in whatever it is that I'm doing. And it's like, it's not even necessarily like coaching. It's just the environment and the business in general. It just helps.
Yeah, that workshop we're doing, it's a big event. We made it really clear, like, look, it's $5K a ticket. It's no more than 5 businesses. It's a 2-day event. It is like, this is where Baker thrives. And for those who don't know, so Baker's my COO. He's one that's organized. So it's like, in short, hey, you want to do a $50,000 a month coaching business? What are you doing right now that a $50,000 coaching business does? Oh, not the right things because you don't know, because you've never been there before. Of course, that makes sense. Like, you don't know what it feels like to be 300 pounds unless you've previously been 300 pounds. Right? So it's one of those things to where it's like, if you don't know what the feeling like is on stage, then it's new. But if we can show you what it's going to be like before you get there, it makes the experience a lot more fun and a lot easier. And you don't make the same mistakes that all the newbies made before they got on stage. So that's what we're trying to do is it's called the coaches operator workshop, because it's like, how does a business operate at certain levels, whether it's 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, etc. So it's a really interesting thing that we're doing. Again, something else that nobody else is doing. But again, we enjoy the in-person a lot, and we just take advantage of the office space that we have to make it happen. So
Is there anybody else out there like that tries to do what AR is doing? Like, is there any? I can't think of anybody that does automation like that.
there are other GHL companies, and this really GHL sold in two ways. I teach you on YouTube videos, and then you can sign up underneath me, and I make $40 off of your $97 subscription to Go High Level. And that's an affiliate partner. It's really common. It's kind of big. And the other play that most people make is buy my mentorship program, 6 months, 10 grand, whatever. And then on the back end, I give it to you for $189.
That's what AIA does.
Yeah, it's what every like it sells I sell a coaching company and provide software on the back end. What we do is the opposite. We're like, hey, we're not a mentorship company. We set up funnels first, coaching second. By the way, our coaching's really damn good. But if you don't want the coaching, that's fine. Just get the software, because we're the best at doing just that. So for those that don't need mentor or don't want a mentor, fine, great. Most of our people have mentors, or they don't need one because they learn the thing. They just need help building out the thing to match their company. Cool. Not a problem. That's what we do. It makes it to where you don't have to spend, a boatload of money to get a mentorship to get a funnel built. We're able to just do it on the back end, cheap and easy. I say cheap and easy. I mean, our average program's $497 in comparison to the normal $97. But at the same time, like, for us, we view it as like, if you're arguing the $400 for 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, live chat, and then all of our group calls, be able to ask us questions, then it's like, you probably aren't a great fit.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want people to ask questions. And it's like, if you're looking for the cheapest thing, go do it yourself. If you're looking to have the best thing and then have people you could bounce ideas off of and help you build it, and it's like, you want a team that can help you along the way, cool. Totally get it. Like, we're here
If
for
anybody's
it.
like me, man, I mean, I don't have the time to try to go to learn by myself what I'm going to get mentored in. You know what I'm saying? This allows coaches to actually do what they're best at, and that's to coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
That's really exactly how you put it. Either I don't have the time, or I don't want to learn it.
And
dude, that's it.
let's be honest. If you're not making enough to spare $497 a month for software, then you don't need the software to begin with as a coach. Like, you don't need workflows if you're not making more than $497 a month.
I got to 10K a month without any softwares, without any funnels, nothing. But guess what? It was pretty damn hard to get there. For
Yeah,
me, trying, failing. I could have got there a lot quicker with funnels, but I also didn't know what the hell it was even at the time. So, like, I was just trying to do things with a mentorship for a while. I realized that I didn't want to go that route in terms of how I wanted to brand myself, etc. And then kept making more money from there without any funnels. And then realized, like, yo, I've got X amount of athletes. I'm traveling this amount. I can't get on calls in the volume like I used to. You know what I'm saying? So I need something to direct people. I need something that I can be hands off on. And when I need to be hands on, I'm hands on, just like that. Instead of sending all these messages, following up, etc. So, I mean, hell, dude, you don't need to make 10K a month. You don't need it. But guess what? It's a lot fucking easier if you do it.
yeah.
Boom. I better get royalties now after this episode.
How's Check-ins Pro doing, Mike?
Good. We actually just talked this morning about trying to pick a launch date on it. So we're up fully ready to go. We got our trials set. So basically different tiers. We finally set on like, hey, we're going to do it based off of how many clients that you have. So create different tiers. And yeah, our goal is to get 1,000 users by July. So see us at the booth this year. Come check us out because we'll be there. Now we're gonna. I talked to a few people this past weekend and like some things to do, and so we figured out like how we're gonna do it, what we're gonna do. It's not a service; it's just a pure software. Just like you sign up and get trainerized and you fill it all out and do the thing. Same thing. So whether you like me or hate me, it's irrelevant in the situation. Whether it's this person has to onboard or that, it's like none of that. It's all self-sufficient. You click like 4 buttons and you're ready to go. So we're excited about that. But we were talking about like, we got to create a VSL and this, that, whatever. And I was like, nah, we're gonna do everything AI. Like, we're selling an AI tool. Why can't we make AI content? Why can't we make an AI video? Why can't we do everything AI and actually not have to do any of the work per se? To where it's like, I can make a video talking about it and you just change the way I look with that AI filter and make me a woman and like make me sell more stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you
So,
are you planning on like from a marketing strategy? Is it going to be like a e-commerce style of
yes.
software, basically? Yeah.
Yep. We're going to send people directly to a landing page that is video, VSL, click point purchase.
Do you think, I mean, you were talking about VSL. Do you recommend coaches to have a VSL in their funnel?
I think that video, yes.
Well, for people that are listening, video sales letter is what VSL stands for.
Yeah. So basically, when we set up a funnel for somebody, we put it on the top of your application page or your link in bio. So you click your link in bio. Who do you help? How do you help them? How can you help them? Like, what next steps do they take, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we have a video that we actually say, hey, mimic this exact same video. But yes, I do think that anytime we can have video is always going to beat copy, in my opinion, at least in today's day and age.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
I did.
basically, it's like video saying like all the things about you and how you help people, and you can showcase like through a Canva document behind you, people I've helped, et cetera, and then application below that they would fill out. Would be my suggestion there. We don't do like a VSL for you to like get something for free because I think that can actually prevent you from taking the action versus curiosity making you fill it out. So
How long do you think somebody's VSL should be if it's based upon copy and not like organic?
man, if you can keep it below 7 minutes, the better.
Mine was 18 for my first take.
And it's pretty typical, but the completion rate on that is so low that you got to remember, like, people are goldfish, and we're just trying to get them to take the next step. I'm not trying to blow your mind. Just need you to fill out the thing. Like, so it's like bite size, get them to take action. After that, you can give some depth.
I was funnel hacking someone that had an hour and 2-minute VSL, and I was like, bro, if they think that I would sit here and watch this, they're out of their mind.
Yeah. So here's the difference there. So if you're selling to rich people, 3 minutes. If you're selling to poor people, an hour.
Makes sense.
Why is that?
Because I don't need you to explain the concept to me as somebody that has a business and successful. I need to see what it does, what makes it different, why I need it. Boom, boom, boom. You can spit that out in a few sentences. And then broke people is like, I need to create a side hustle. And then it's like, let me show you how to create the entire side hustle. Oh, by the way, here's the thing that you need to make it all work. It to teach and convince you how to do it, what to do, that this is a good idea. All this proof that it works, blah, 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 blah. And it's like the longer they complete that video, higher likelihood of them purchasing. It's
But
like
at the end of the day, a lot of people will watch that video and still won't check any box.
Yeah, but if they do watch the video, the likelihood of them purchasing are much higher than if they don't.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you if they're willing to listen, just keep talking.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Mike-
know your people aren't going to listen just because they're a higher caliber, then just shut up because you're wasting their time.
True.
Mike, do you think that the DM funnel ads and marketing are dying off now because of so many coaches abusing it for the last year?
No. I just think those that are good at it are winning, and those that suck at it are sucking.
100%.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's so creative based now that it worked really well when there wasn't a lot of them. And so now that, let's say there are a lot of them, because there's been coaches teaching people how to do so many of them, that, and Facebook makes it so much easy, like so easy to actually make ads, that you put up an ad and it's the exact ad that would have worked maybe 3 years ago. It doesn't work anymore because the landscape has changed in the sense of that your competitors are just better. So like, for example, I got a guy that I'm working with that's getting $1.65 messages to cold traffic, which is silly, but he's also a organic content creator who has figured out a viral rhythm on how to exactly make his posts. And instead of us making ads, I said, hey, find me your top 5 most viral posts. And then in the middle of them, because he does a voiceover style, I said, in the middle of them, just add a CTA that says, message me the word freak. So it's the same viral video, just throws in a CTA in the middle of it saying, message me, and then continues on. So it's like, most of the time we try to create an ad. Creating an ad's a bad idea. You want to use content that's already worked well as the ad,
Yes.
and then try to throw in a CTA into that.
100%.
So like whatever Nick's best video of him ripping talking in the gym, whatever that hook was, like recreate that section, or recreate that in the gym with that certain hook that did well, or all the hooks that did well. And then the meat's kind of the same, but it's the hook that got them in with that CTA.
People don't realize that, like, when it comes to ads as well, it's a freaking volume game. Like, you have to, I think, man, dude, I've probably created 25, 30 ads. And out of that amount, I think 3 or 4 of them have really hit. Like, they were the ones that I kept running continuously. And I've filmed, I mean, there's one day where I filmed like 15 ads and I had like 5, 6, 7 different outfits I was changing into. I was filming all by the train tracks, in the gym, all this stuff. And at the end of the day, the ones that I kept using and that kept hitting were ones that were already viral videos that I just added something to, you
Dude.
know?
And like, to be honest, people who are good at ads are running 25 to 30 ads in one ad set or one campaign.
Dude, there was a time I was dropping I think it was like what, $320 a day for ads. I was just blasting ads, dude.
Yeah, in the scheme of things, like what is that? 300 a day times 30? Was it $9,000?
Mhm.
If that's a good amount for a coaching company, for a company like mine, it's
Nothing.
3,000 a day.
Mhm.
I currently don't, but like my coffee company, dude, at peak, dude, I spent 210,000 in July of 2020.
That's a number of people will almost never see in their bank account the way it is.
What's the ROAS on that? Or what was the
That month we did 455. So it wasn't, and this was on sample ads. Like I was just like, can I break even and get my product into 12,000 customers' hands?
Mhm.
So that they would then like it and come back and repurchase. So we spent like 1.3 million on ads that year. And like, if I'm honest, like I should have hired somebody to help do the thing, but I was like, I got this.
Yeah.
Trust me, you don't have it spending 200,000 a month. That takes a very, very particular individual. And I probably lost $300,000 of profit that I could have paid somebody 30 grand a month who would have then made more. But it's like 30 grand. You want me to pay somebody 30 grand a month? And it's like, well, if they're spending 200,000
Mhm.
one day, you can lose 30 grand.
Yeah.
It's just a ratio game.
Are you saying hire someone as far as the
At that
Funnel
point,
set
yeah.
up.
I mean, I don't think that anybody in the coaching world, I don't think that you have to hire somebody. I just think you should learn exactly like the small nuances that you need to do. Um, and that can be in a mentorship program, but also doesn't. But like, there's people out right now that are charging like $96,000 for the year to
Whoa.
learn how to, for them to tell them you should double your ad spend.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, I mean, when I was spending more on ads before I even got with Kevin. He was doing all my stuff. I've talked to you guys about Kevin before. And when I got with him, we narrowed down just like my demographic so well, where I think the most ROI that I was getting was when I was spending $50 every other day. It was crazy. We were just showing it to non-followers, this age group in this area. And it was actually going to just non-followers, not current followers. Not only did like following count go up from that, but it was crazy to see how I can't even explain how he did it because he's way better at it than I did, but how he was looking at analytics and dialing down, like dialing in on who's clicking, how long are they clicking for, where are they from. Like he had some software, some AI built up as well um to funnel their social media, because when they would sign up with an email, this software would take this email, figure out what they're posting on their socials across the board to hone in even better on like, okay, who do they follow? Who do they like? Who are we going to attract from their following? It was absolutely insane. Stuff that I could never even do. Like, dude, I mean, hell, he would love to talk about that on the podcast one day. He's crazy good at it.
I think the best thing that coaches can do is, hey, take the piece of content that's performing the best, make it fit your ICA, just boost it for like $20 a day. And then that gets you new followers. You reach out to those new followers. Once you can find success in doing that, then do DM ads.
So you're saying like the boost post that's already within Instagram, you're saying?
Yeah, but do it through the laptop, not your phone, because your phone will cost you an extra 30%.
Really?
Yes, because Apple charges 30% to use a mobile app.
Interesting.
So if you go to Instagram.com, you're not using the mobile app, so you can't charge an app fee because I'm using a website. Yeah, there. If anything that made it worth on this podcast, share it with somebody. But yeah, dude, just a normal boost. People just visit your account, $20 a day. Take your best performing reel and boost it for $20.
Shit, I might do that right now.
The best performing reel, I view it as like this: which piece of content got you the most amount of followers to the ratio of views. So, for example, if you got a 10,000 views and you got 100 followers, all right, then we're looking at a 1%, which means that if you did it in ads, then for every 1,000 views, you get 10 new followers. And if you can keep the followers under $2, that's good. But at the same time, if you're not reaching out to every new follower that you get, sending them a message, then it's like you're just building a following, but you're not building a business.
Yep, you're not building a
So
connection.
when they come in, you got to go to them.
Do you recommend anything like ManyChat for people to use when new followers come their way, or do you think that people?
So really great question.
Just type.
I think the coach that wants more clients needs to find value in the inefficiencies. It needs to have the conversations. They need to learn. They need to become better at selling and starting conversation and doing the work.
Yes.
And I even wouldn't do ManyChat from there. I would actually hire somebody to do that for me, because this is the way I view it, is that it's a volume game, yes, but it is also a quality game. The better quality of message that you're going to send to somebody, to where it is like, first things first, cold DMs suck. You want to comment on that person's story. So, for example, if Nick started following me and I saw that he posted on his story, I would go on his story, see him at the gym, and be like, yo, Nick, man, crushing it in the gym today. And then send a message. Second one, just want to say thank you so much for the follow, dude. And then send a third message, say, did you start following me through a piece of content, or one of my clients, I see we have a lot of mutuals.
Yeah.
And it's like, that just starts conversation. But I commented on you and then asked you, like, whether you trying to do this or do you find me from this?
Right. True.
But commenting on the story is like that's the piece that ManyChat can't do, but that's the piece that makes the difference.
That's the piece that makes the difference. But then you said you also have new coaches start doing the shit that they don't want to do. Start building.
If you can't book calls, you can't sell on the phone.
Okay. So if we're directing people not to use ManyChat and to start doing that themselves, but then you went and said, if it was you, you would go and hire somebody to do that.
In time.
Okay.
Like, I don't use ManyChat, but I have a VA that sends every new follower a message on the behalf of my account. But because I want the more humanized personal touch.
100%.
I don't want the same blanket message. Now, you get 2,000 new followers a day. Now we're playing a different game. 99% of people listening, that ain't you.
Most people are getting not even 2 or 3 new followers a day.
So it's just like you got to treat every single new follower as that the last one you're ever going to get.
But what about this? So think about the coaches that are listening to this right now that aren't even getting the volume, the new followers, the new audience coming in their way. Okay. Let's say they're stuck around that, like, let's say they got 3,000 followers. All right. Fluctuate between 3,000, 3,100, etc. How do they do that same thing, capitalizing on their current audience without going viral, without, all these new followers coming their way? I mean, there's days where I'll have 105 new followers, and there's days where I'll wake up and I've got 5 new followers or 200, etc.
Yeah.
But a lot of I had to get to that point. There was times where when I still had 900 followers, where I was still coaching people, where I had to go out, see who's commenting on my stuff, see who's liking my photos, and then go to their profiles. If they had a story up, do it exactly what Mike said, and I would swipe on their story.
Yeah. So can I get some input here? Because I made my first $30,000 month with 3,000 followers.
Bingo.
I don't think followers is a direct correlation of the amount of money you make.
Right.
I know people who have made $200,000 with less than 10,000 followers in 1 month.
100%.
I think it comes down to, like, are you willing to go out and get it?
A lot of people treat their business like McDonald's. They expect people to just come buy from them and take orders. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And the biggest difference between you and McDonald's is branding. They've spent millions, and at this point, probably $1 billion on just branding. And so you know what the golden arch means. No one knows anything about you or what it means. So until you build a reputation, no one's just going to come to you. And so the more money you do, the business actually will start to roll up in a positive direction, because you're starting to create a brand where people will come to you. So to me, it's harder to get to the first 10 than it is 20.
I agree with that.
I made this statement at the True Coach event. I was like, I bet anybody that, like, I'll race you to $1 million. I'll race you to $1 million in a year. I don't think it's that hard. It's just because I've just done it enough times to, like, confidently say that. But at the same time, like, the same type of confidence can come from, like, Nick, where now you've hit 300. It's like, dude, if I had to start over, I'd race anybody to 300.
Yeah. 100%.
So it just comes with experience of it, but it's just doing all the little things, because I don't have a big following. Still don't have a big following. I get terrible engagement, but I feel like I do a really good job of, like, all the little things that are required to make a sale and purchase. And if I could go back, like, I'd obviously change some things. Dude, if I really wanted to, like, make more money, and I would just sell something different and charge more money,
Yeah.
I mean, I could easily go out and start doing business consulting at, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, 90-day contracts with people, and just do 10 of those a month. It's not difficult. It's just the confidence of getting there.
100%. It's the confidence of getting there. That right there should stick out to people, because there's days where I do really good at doing the small shit, outreach. I don't do any cold DMs. I just don't do that anymore, especially they're not really that effective, as Mike just said.
I disagree. I do think they're effective. It's just based off of what makes the most sense for where that business is at.
Okay, so that's the nuance, the context of it. You're right.
Yeah, because it's like Alex Mosey would say that, yeah, you should do outreach.
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm a firm believer that outreach works. I mean, like 10% of my business is from cold outreach.
Right. So
But if I had to pick and choose, right? But usually like the number one, like if you're doing all the inbound, like you're handling all the stuff that comes in, all the new followers, people that like your stuff, then it's like, so what are you going to do? You're going to twiddle your thumbs? Or you're going to do outreach? Which one is it? So you go out. But then, Nick, if you wanted to hire somebody to help you do it, then that would be the next step, because you can't focus on growing the business and maintaining where it's at based on workload. And that's where I mean, like, you either have to, just find time, or you hire somebody to do it. And that just becomes on, does the coach want to do that?
I remember when I was first trying to get to my first 10K month, bro, I would fucking go follow 100, 200 people a day, get them to follow me just so I'll have an excuse to send them a message, and then go unfollow all of them so that my follower to following ratio wasn't bad, and then start conversations there. Like I was
It's that
commenting.
old school method.
Yeah, I was going to every hashtag you could think of and messaging everybody I could think of on there. Instagram didn't have a limit. So I was just like 2 hours a day, I was just messaging everyone that I possibly could, and that was before I knew how to set appointments in the DM. I wasn't even doing phone calls. I was literally just like, "Hey, you look good." It would be like something like, "Yo, you look great. Like, are you working with a coach, or are you interested in working with one?" And like literally
yes.
straight up, straight to the point. Like, "Hey, and I actually signed quite a few clients off of it. Now that wouldn't work today, but it's just like, how hungry are you, and are you willing to just not be embarrassed?
Right.
Mhm.
And Taylor, you would back then, that's when, like, that was probably around that same time frame where you and I kind of started to become friends. That was probably what, 2021,
Yeah.
2022 range?
Yep.
Because at that point I was learning about Gary V's $80 method. Yeah, yeah, and there was this one software that I paid like 1,500, or sorry, $15 a month for, and it would sync up with my Instagram. Now, Instagram definitely doesn't allow this nowadays, but I was so dedicated with sending messages, making comments, following certain hashtags. But I knew that, one, I was still in college and I didn't want to hire a VA, and I knew I had to like make the connection with my audience of like me myself. So but I didn't have time to go be on my phone all the time with exams, with studying, with my own bodybuilding, whatever. So this software, I would go to certain posts on hashtags, followers, non-followers, whatever, and I would make a comment, but I would set my settings to where it would make like 20 comments every, like 3 hours, or 100 comments every X amount of time. So Instagram wouldn't flag it. So it would randomly see, people would get a comment from me that I
Mhm.
genuinely wrote, and I would see their post, and it would be about their post, but through the software, it would time it for when it would actually go, like, post and sync to my Instagram, so I wouldn't get flagged for like bot activity. And that was one way where I was like, yo, this is how I'm going to handle the volume game of comments and making connections and DMs and all that. It worked. I mean, I got followers from it. I wouldn't say I got anywhere near the amount of followers from it that I got from just like being myself online, but you got to try some things. You got to fucking hustle.
I also used to go to like really big bodybuilding pages, Buys and Tries, Bodybuilding Without Borders, like um official
RX.
RX,
Yep.
uh um just anywhere, and I would just try to leave funny ass comments so that people would laugh and then follow me and like it. And then everyone that either liked my comment or followed me, I would then message them.
Brother, I would make some polarizing comments.
Yeah.
Like, I would make some fucking polarizing comments, and
Smart.
it's funny, man. I don't know when this was. I don't think it was anytime recently, but somebody, like, I met somebody that followed me all the way back from like 2023 or something. And they followed me from a comment that started a huge fight in the thread. And it wasn't even like, I didn't even continue the fight. It was just like other people commenting back. And this person brought it up to me and they're like, yeah, bro, I started following you because I saw you started a bunch of shit on this one post. And I was like, man, this guy's lit. And I'm like talking to this person, they never bought from me, but it's the connection of like, hey, you made an impact. You got them to bite, got them to follow, and they're with you for a reason.
I've signed quite a few people that I had a conversation with, and then they didn't sign up with me for a year. But they
Yes.
started following me and they started seeing my stuff, and then they came back a year later and were like, "Hey, bro, I like what you're doing." Blah 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 blah.
Dude, 100%.
I
Have you ever had those people that come to you? Mike, you can, in the business aspect of AR and stuff too, you can answer in that context. Where they DM you, they're asking about, service, etc. You tell them what's up. 6 months, a year goes by, they ask some more questions. Another X amount of time goes by, they ask more questions. At one point, you just tell them, hey, you're not going to sign up with me. And you just tell them like, no, like, I don't think I've done that before because I'm like, dude, if you wanted to do it, you would have already done it 2 years ago. You know
so
what
what I do when I feel like people are mooching like that is I'll be like, yo, I do consultations for $150 an hour. If you just want to hop on a call, we can do that.
Dude, sometimes I'll just be brutal. I'll be like, no, I don't want to give you that information because you've mooched on me for this entire year and a half. You're going to keep doing it.
So the way I've always handled that, one is that I typically book a call before any information is actually given.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually give a good thorough answer without context. So I don't have just like open-ended questions per se like that. And if so, sometimes I'll just send a message that solves one problem but usually creates another.
Bingo.
And so then creating another problem. So for example, somebody was like, yeah, man, what do you think macros should be? It's like, then let's say I sent the voice message to it's like, man, it's more authentic and real. And I'll be like, then, macros is like, I typically like to go the 30-40% range, proteins, carbs, fats. And like, that's really going to depend some on your body weight. Obviously, you probably already looked up your macros. So I don't know that mine would be any different, but I truly can't handle that until I actually look at everything else you're doing. And so if you want and see what my coaching looks like, we can essentially set up a call so that I can actually dive in that with you. And then
100%.
usually they go, okay, and then bounce or book the call. So it's like, I usually just draw the line in the sand. Now, a lot of people like, I'll answer questions and whatnot, or just give advice open-ended, expecting nothing. And then it depends on the person. I'll give you a great example. So like many years ago, I met at the Muscles House, Keaton Hopkins. I met Paulu, who is Hannah Eden's husband. And I had no idea who he was, really who she was, but has a really big following. And I was just talking with him, whatnot, and what do I do? And at the time, I was building out and helping Rob Bailey and some of his brands on the back end. And so that's kind of why I was there. I was explaining that. That's how I got to know the people there. They were trying to figure out a Facebook thing. And I was like, why don't we just get on a call next week and I'll just walk you through and help you. This is not a sales pitch because I couldn't necessarily help them per se, but I was like, I will walk you through and help you. And I spent like 2.5 hours trying to walk through their Facebook stuff because Facebook's always a nightmare. And so 2.5 hours. A week later, I receive a bottle of Azul. It's just like a thank you. And basically, a great friendship and relationship and a card that can be punched at any given point.
Nice.
And it's just like, part of me like, it's like sometimes I'll do things because of being friendly, but usually when you're being friendly, like they want to be friendly in return somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And the point of it wasn't to, hey, I'll get something later, but it was to build a network and relationship with somebody that is powerful. And so I'll answer things and help people based off of some of that for connections, networking, personal interest, things like that.
Right.
It'd be the same as coaching somebody that has potential for free.
I wonder what happens there. Shit, player, you talking my language.
That's a talk we had at the True Coach event this weekend too. Somebody was asking about bumping prior prices for clients that have been with them for a long time.
Yeah.
And we all said it, but I told him, like, if the ROI of that person is 10x what they're paying you a month by them being a walking billboard for your brand and shouting your name from the rooftop, or they have the connections or whatever, like if you're getting $400 a month clients from a person that pays you $150 a month, keep them.
Keep them. 100%. I agree with that. I think, dude, I don't even think I've ever. No, okay. There's people where I've like their price has not been grandfathered in because they leave me for X amount of time, and they come back. I'm like, yeah, and then I'm not going to grandfather your price in. But I'm pretty sure everybody that I still coach, it's like my OGs is still at a low rate.
Yeah, I bumped
But it's
everyone.
also because they're some of my best people, man. There's some of my best lifestyle people. There's some of my best people that are literally, like you said, a walking billboard. So I'm gonna reward loyalty,
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
there's what was I gonna say? Damn it, that reminded me. Um, shit, it was something Mike said, but I forgot. Dang it.
I had a quote. This kind of what we're talking about. The reminiscing on what we did to get where we are thing reminded me of a quote Mark Tominek posted on his story the other day. It was like, I don't know verbatim, but it was like, I'm dumb enough to risk it all. Smart. What was it? It was
I know which one you're talking about.
it was dumb enough to take. What was it? It was like dumb enough to risk it all, smart enough to know I won't lose it all, but confident enough to know that I can build it all back if I did, or something
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
something like
And I'm
that.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, bro, that's where that experience of just doing the shit for repetitions and just knowing, like, let's be honest, if my back was against the wall right now, I could figure it the fuck out and I could get back to $10,000 a month, like, in a heartbeat, because, like,
Easy.
once you've been there, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's easy.
You just gotta do
It's
the
not
work.
easy. It's not easy, but you know how to do it, and you know that if you're just willing to work your ass off, it doesn't matter.
You know what not to do. You know what to do 100%.
And there's comfort in taking risks there, and I feel like that's why people with a lot of money or who have been millionaires and built successful stuff before, they always win at a much higher level because they're not afraid to take the risk, because they know if they do take the risk and they lose it, that they will build it all back.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like,
100%.
it's hard to play against somebody like that.
There's part of me, and I've gotten a lot better at this as I've gotten, better with business, that I've gotten, more clients, more income, whatever, reached a different tax bracket, mind you. I'll just put it that way. Um, but I'm the type of person, bro, where if I don't know how much money is in my bank account, I just fucking hustle, dude.
Yeah, same.
Like, I just hustle. I mean, I don't have to look at my bank accounts. There's times where I haven't looked and then I open it up and I'm like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? But I've just noticed that if I'm way different about it now because, like, tax purposes, just business stuff, whatever. It puts me in a sense, like, not knowing of what's in there. I know what's in there, but if I don't know the number constantly and I don't know how much it's going up per month, approximately, then my mind is always on, all right, you're ground zero, baby.
Yeah.
That's just how I operate, bro. Like, if I make a big purchase, like when I bought one of my boats, and I'm like, all right, you have zero income this month. What are you gonna fucking do? Like, that's even though it's not reality, that's how I think. That's how I've tricked my brain into not getting comfortable with making X amount of dollars.
You wanna skyrocket that even more? Have a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Have a baby on the way.
Yeah.
You
I'll
want to
pass right now.
skyrocket that more? Have 30 employees.
Yeah, good point.
Yes. Or just
You know
one
what's funny?
more than anything in the business.
The craziest thing about this is 10 years ago, I would have been like, dude, $10,000 a month? That's crazy. And now I'm like, what do you mean we didn't make 10 grand today?
Yeah, literally. Grateful, dude. You gotta be blessed to think like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is interesting concept, but 10 grand isn't hard. Most people view it as hard because they think about, okay, what's the cheapest thing I could sell to the most amount of people? And that's honestly like the worst approach. The best approach that you can simply have is just go, how do I sell something that has the most value to the richest people I know?
Yes. At the end, the point of how I look at it, the entire point of owning a business is not to make money, but it's to be the solution to somebody's problem.
That's it.
And if you
Yeah,
are that, you can make as much money as you could ever think about.
The bigger the
exactly.
solution or the bigger the pain which you're going to solve, the more money you're going to make.
100%. You just got to think about that. I thought about that when I was, 2020, 2021 as I started coaching, but it didn't really sink in until I started to actually get a little bit of an ego where I was like, damn, I'm kind of good at this shit. Like, I'm actually solving some fucking problems, you know? So you can always think about it in what we just said, what I just said of terms of the business. The point of a business is not to make money, it's to be the solution to somebody's problem. But it doesn't really sink in until you start to realize that you actually are the solution to their problem and that you can stand 10 toes on business with your solution.
Mhm.
So
And for those of you watching, this is not us being like, oh, 10 grand a month is chump change, blah, blah, blah. It's like literally we've all been we all thought $10,000 a month was impossible at some point in our life, and then we did it, and we realized that it is actually not that hard to make $10,000 a month,
Yeah. It,
especially in today's day and age.
uh, one of my favorite quotes is that it's really easy to make $1 million. It just takes 10 years to become the man required to make.
ooh, heater.
And so I told at the True Coach event, I was like, look, I was like, you guys were all smarter than me. I said I had a 21 on the ACT. That was a accumulation of taking the test 3 times. I'm from an intelligence standpoint, probably the least intelligent inside the room. I said, but I've been able to have 4 businesses that are able to generate 4 million or over $1 million. And I was like, the first one's the hardest, and they become a little easier and a little easier. I said, but it also took me 10 years to make 6 figures.
Mhm.
Oh, everybody in this room will make more money than me before I made it.
Yeah.
I go, if that shouldn't say like anything other than I have time and you're ahead of the game. Because I wish that I invested in myself much sooner. I didn't hire a mentor until after I had a company that did $1 million.
Wow.
That's why it was such a grind. Because I didn't ask for help. I would ask buddies, but we're all like trying to do it together, not somebody that's already done it. And so it took me 10 years to make 6 figures. It also took me 10 years to invest $300 a month into somebody else to learn a skill set to move faster.
Right. Right.
Just asinine.
I will say, outside of the work that it takes to make 10 grand a month, the second most valuable thing in your life or in this world that you could do to make $10,000 a month is put yourself in the room with other people who are doing that times
Mhm.
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Exactly. I was
I
going to
will
say,
attribute everything I've ever done in my entire life, well, in the last 5 years, to the people that I've been able to get in the room with.
yeah. I mean, dude, when I get questions about from some of my athletes that are coaches and they're, the beginning stages of their coaching career, put a couple people on stage or just lifestyle, whatever, like, I mean, the most recent thing, I was training legs with one of my athletes. Both of them are athletes and they're roommates. And they were talking about like how they hate, the anxiety of getting on sales calls and, like they don't like to think about going into a sales call that like, yeah, this person's probably going to say no because they kind of give that energy off. And this may not work for everybody, but this works for me. But I told them, I'm like, hey man, honestly, if you have a high volume, if you have a large volume amount of like calls you're getting out per week or per day, whatever, and you're really not looking forward to bringing up the investment at the end, just start the sales call with the investment up the front. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, dude, I'll tell you what, every sales call that I've been on in the past 3 to 6 months, I'll be like, hey man, I'll shoot the shit for a couple minutes. And I'll say, hey, this isn't about the money for me, but I know my time is much more valuable than spending the next 30, 45 minutes convincing you that you need to hire me. But these are my prices. This is where it's at. If you can't make that work, then I'll point you in a different direction. But now you know. and it works for me. And it started working for them for a couple of their sales calls. Now, at the end of the day, that's not the right way to do it in my mind, but that works for me. You know what I'm saying? And my demographic is different than other people's demographic as well
Sure.
too. So, but I've also had all the failures up until this point to tell them, hey guys, this is how I do things. You can try it because it may work for you sometimes, but it doesn't hurt you to just try something new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because hell, dude, if I had some business mentor and I told him that, he's like, what are you doing, Nick? I mean, he'd be like, Nick, that's not sales. And I'm like, well, guess what, dude? That's how it works for me, you
Yeah.
know? But that's also I'm just trying to give knowledge to other people, especially if they're, people on my team that are also trying to do what I'm doing. It just helps. I don't know, it also, I want to see everybody win, people that are close to me, people that are in my circle, people that have a lot of ambition. If I can give them any type of advice, then I will. And sometimes that advice won't work for them, but at least they tried and they figured out, okay, I failed at doing that. Now I need to figure out something that's going to work.
My one piece of advice that I always give, especially and I did this, but really Baker did it to me. And I got on these sales calls and we started AR and it was new because it's like, here I am, a person trying to tell other coaches how to grow a successful company while I never made more than like $1,000 a month in my own coaching business. I ghost coach and sold for other companies, but I just didn't believe in myself. Baker came in, put a sticky note on my computer and said, people love to pay me money.
Mm.
It's a belief. If you don't believe that, no one else is actually going to pay you. And so that was something that I had just to have confidence in believing, because if I look at that note and then I show up in that call, people love to pay me money. I'm like, hey, we ready to do this? Because I'm excited for you to pay me.
Yeah.
That's the confidence that you have to have going into that call. Otherwise, it's just like you're going to trip and stumble and you're going to undercut your price as soon as you say the original price. And it's just going to be this race to the bottom. And another thing is, like, for every no is just one more step closer to yes. And so actually don't be afraid of no's. In fact, they can be encouraged and wanted, because it's like, if I have multiple yeses back to back to back, it's inevitable that I have to have a no. So let's get these out of the way real fast.
I can't remember where I heard this from, but you just reminded me. But if you literally looked at every single failure and every single no as one step closer to that yes, how more excited would you be after every time somebody told you no? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where I heard that from, but it's like, if you had you had 100 choices, 100 answers, yes or no. Every time you heard no, and that 100th one is going to be like, yo, your dreams came true. Like, this shit's happening. Every time you were given a no, how excited would you be? Because now you'd be one step closer to that number 100.
I think the quote you're referring to is something like, if I was going to give you $1 million, but you had to receive 100 no's, how fast would you want to hear those no's?
Similar to that.
Yeah. And it was just like, you'd want to get them fast as possible.
Yes.
And it's not, the
100%.
goal is not to have a no, but the goal is to know that if you do get a no, that's just one step closer to a yes.
Yes, 100%. And dude, this shit's hard, man. We're dealing with people in this world that don't want to pay. We're dealing with people that want to take the easy route. We're dealing with a lot of circumstances with, economy, people wanting your service, but not actually being able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be times where you get 0 sales in a month. There's times where you're going to get 50 sales in a month, in anywhere in between, or there's times where you lose money. But at the end of the day, dude, that's where we kind of traded the 9 to 5 to work 24/7 for a reason. And that's part of what goes along with it, so you have to embrace it. We talked a lot on this podcast today about, like, yo, 10K, hitting that 10K number is not that hard. Cause guess what? It actually isn't. Okay. It's going to take a lot of steps to get there. You're going to have to invest in yourself to get there. Just like how you're going to have to invest in yourself to lose 80 pounds by hiring a good coach, somebody that's going to fucking care for you, etc. But there's going to be so many more failures than there is going to be successes. And so many people in today's day and age look at one failure, the next failure, the next failure as a sign from the universe that they're not meant to be doing what they're doing. And that's the complete opposite of what you have to be thinking.
And I feel like to go back on what we're saying about $10,000 being easy. $10,000 a month is not easy. The strategy of getting to $10,000 a month is easy. The work that it takes to get there isn't, or to get anywhere. So like the strategy of building $1 million business is really just you find what took you from 1,000 to 10,000, make a couple adjustments if you need to, and just do that times 1,000. Or, um, but the work that goes into doing that is not easy.
100%.
Nick, you said something that is like you trade the 9 to 5 to work 24/7. There would be nobody be doing less than $10,000 a month if they actually worked 24/7.
There'd be nobody doing that. That's fucking fact.
Because the truth is that we trade the 9 to 5 for you realistically to fuck off and do a 10 to 2.
That's a good point.
It's impossible for you not to have as many conversations as required in getting in the reps. You cannot hire a mentor and just literally work your feet and hands into the ground and make 10 grand. Because think about it, if I had 100 conversations a day, you can't get one book call from 100 conversations. Question becomes are you waiting for those 100 conversations to you, or are you going to them?
Exactly. So in layman's terms, for people listening to that, if you still don't understand it, if you do trade the 9 to 5 to work 24/7 and you're still not getting to where you want to be and you think you're putting the effort in, guess what, motherfucker? You're probably not putting the fucking effort in.
So
That's it. That's literally what he said.
The simple answer is to everything, just do more.
Do more, have help, pay somebody that's doing 10 times what you're doing, and you're going to get there.
You want to grow more muscle? Eat more.
100%.
You want to make more money? Do more work.
It really actually just becomes that simple. And those are Hermosi's words that he's quoting there. Is just most of the time it's just more of what's working. Most people, I don't know what's working. Well, I can tell you what's not, and that's doing nothing. And so if you're Alex Hermosi also says if you're not spending $100 a day on ads or reaching out to 100 people, what are you doing to actually grow the business?
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, what are you doing? And most people go, it's like you have to have conversations. Either you start them or you pay to start them. You can work or pay for it. It's your only option.
It's like,
And
dude,
if you don't have the money to pay for it, you got to have the work ethic to work for it.
That's it.
100%. I see people that are fitness coaches or posing coaches or whatever the hell they are, and they want to work for this themselves. They want to be fully self-employed. They want to make, 8, 10, 15K a month, etc. But they've got the work ethic sometimes in the wrong places. They've got the work ethic to make viral content, but they don't got the work ethic to translate that over to the business. Sometimes people have the work ethic, but they don't realize that they're just putting in the things that don't fucking matter, bro. I have videos with millions of fucking views and shares, whatever. Didn't make me a single dollar. And then I make a video talking about training. It gets 10,000 views or even less because people don't want to hear about training. They just want to hear about drugs for some reason. And guess what? That converts to more sales. But like, you have to have the work ethic. If you have the work ethic to do good at one thing, aka let's say making your social media pop off, you want to make money, you better translate that over to your business, because social media is not going to fucking pay you. Nobody cares about how viral you've gone. People only care about if you, not only, but if you can help people, if you, yeah.
Good talk.
I think also too, I'd like to add this is that the belief that you have to be successful has to come from within. No one is going to be there on your way up. They're only going to be there when you make it at the top. And it is a very hard, lonely road. And you're going to feel like you're a nobody until you've actually become a somebody. And then even then, everybody's going to think now, oh, you're a somebody. They're going to think you're an idiot in the beginning, and they're going to think you're a big shot, egotistical once you actually make it. You cannot rely on any outside motivation. It all has to come from internal. And I can tell you what my default is that when it gets tough, you have two choices. You cower or you buckle down. And for myself, I can tell you that the first thing I do is go, well, I just got to work harder. I just got to do more. And it's like, that's the workaholic in me. So it's not always a healthy thing, but it is I'm a figure it out thing. And then at what cost is the unhealthy part. But most people are not going to know what that actually means, because I don't think most people get to they don't work hard enough to get to a situation to where that even becomes a factor.
Totally agree.
You know, if you're not like up at 5 a.m. and then still on your laptop at 9 p.m. at night watching TV with your girlfriend or wife, like, you don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
Um, unless you're taking your laptop to the gym and it stays in your car and you do not go to dinner without your laptop, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Totally agree. Brother,
I've been in situations to where it's like, you know how you leave in your house and you go, okay, keys, wallet, phone. I would be like, laptop, where's my laptop? Like, just pure anxiety. And it's just like, did I have to be? No. But that's just what I felt that needed to happen for me to find success. Because if my clients text me when I had the agency and they needed me to do something on their business, I didn't want to not be able to fix it or answer it, which would be a lot like your clients texting you about your program and like, hey, can I eat ketchup or whatever? And it's like, you're like, yeah, I'll get back to it. I didn't operate that way. I technically still don't operate that way. I'm like the only mentor that actually responds back to text messages within like an hour. That's just how it's just what I do.
Yeah, you're a
But
gangster.
it's just like there has to be this relentless pursuit of success, because it's not going to fall into your lap.
Before we go, can we touch on something there too, Mike? Something that I've noticed is that in this pursuit of relentless success that I've been on, especially recently, I have a lot on my plate. A lot of people, friends, family have been like, you never text me anymore. You never talk to me anymore. So like what you just said about texting back quick, it just kind of reminded me of like some people you just have to like there's going to come a time where is it important enough to make a priority right now? And if not, you don't have to spend time on doing it.
I agree.
So there's a difference between important and urgent.
Yeah.
And you have to find the balance, and that's in personal and business, right? So I just give a personal example. So like, obviously Taylor is my coach, and so like I'll text him, and then let's just say in the fall it would be like an hour max, and now it might be a day, and I'm like, yo, your boy's out here working. I get it and see it. I'm like, man, I wish he'd text me back, and then I'm like, well, he's in a season. It's okay. He needs to do his thing. And also, like, this isn't that important. I'm just shooting the shit. It's not urgent either.
100%. Brother, oh my God, you said that. Oh, I could go off on that. Dude.
So it's just like, you'll find that as the busier you get, you'll have people reach out to you. And I think one of my biggest mistakes I've made over the years is that I respond to texts. I never send texts. And so what happens is that a lot of our relationships have come one-sided where they're texting me. And I'm like, why would somebody want to be friends with somebody that's only one way? So I have a very small circle due to my own. I'm like, well, I need to do this. I don't need to like do this because this is not important. This is, but obviously the relationship of friends is important. But you'll find that you have some friends that you pick up right where you left off, and then some friends like, bro, you never talk to me anymore. I'm just like, okay, you don't understand the season in which I'm going through. Could I have done better? Absolutely. Is it worth ending our friendship over? If you say so, buddy. So it's just knowing like, hey, when's a good time to recognize those things so you don't put yourself in the ground. But also note that you can't have all the same relationships and also do the other thing that you want to do. And this is how I need you to understand it. If you want to be the best, if you want to be top 1%, I need you to be the best person at doing your thing inside of a high school, like basketball stadium. If you want to be 0.01%, I need you to be the best in the stadium, football stadium. You think that that person is just at free will, just texting whoever they want all day?
Mhm.
Like, of course not. That person is like, you think Elon Musk just texts his friends randomly? No, he has 5 people he talks to, and all of them go through an assistant.
Mhm.
Like, there's just layers to it. And so you got to find time for those that are important to you. And also you have to find the filter of like weeding out conversations that don't need to be had.
That's
And
very
so
true.
for somebody that answers all text messages, this past week I received a text message from somebody and I just didn't respond because I felt it was worth responding to.
I agree.
I'm like, we're not that close. This is a BS text. Not answering it. And that's the first time I've done that in a long, long time.
There's times where I've done that actually to current clients of mine, and where they'll ask a question. Hey man, I've answered this time and time again, but the fact that you're answering it again tells me that you have not listened or implemented it and it has not sunk in. I will no longer give the time of day to a question that we've talked about 5, 6, 7 times. Now that may seem harsh from people listening. Maybe it seems harsh from people that are listening that are my clients, but guess what? Comprehend shit better. That's it. Like,
And I do this to people who I know the answer to what they're asking me, and I'm gonna give them time to process it and make their decision on their own, and then I'm gonna text them back, and then they're gonna tell me what they actually did in the situation, and then I'm gonna tell them whether it was right or wrong to do.
100%. I mean, dude, there's
That's an
been plenty of
interesting take. I like that take. You're basically like, I'm not going to answer it, so good luck. Let me know.
yeah. Dude, the thing is, that's happened with me and when me and Cam first started having like maybe 2 years into it, where I was starting to actually get better at coaching. I'd ask him a question about my own stuff while I already knew the answer. He wouldn't respond. And he's like, hey man, you knew the answer. You know what to do. You didn't need my validation from it. You know, it's like, it makes sense.
I also wanna make it known that, like, if Mike says that I don't respond to him quickly, then anyone else who texts me should know because Mike is it's Grayson, my fiance, my mom, and then Mike pinned in my message. Like those are the top 3 pinned. So if I don't answer him, I promise you I haven't seen any other. Not I'm not ignoring you. I genuinely just have not seen it.
100%.
Here's the biggest difference, though, is like you made a transition from online to in clinic.
Yeah.
Which means we're in person, and there's nothing worse than me talking to somebody at the front desk. It's a client or a patient, me doing this.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Like,
basically, I have to
you
find
want
that
to talk
time.
about Gen Z population?
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Hate that. But Taylor, how many clients online clients do you have right now?
50.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I was like, Mike
cut
said you
back a lot.
transitioned.
Yeah.
I was about to say, there's no way you completely got rid of everybody.
No.
Yeah.
I am getting to the point now to where like if you're not going to follow the plan, I'm not going to babysit you. So I'm just letting people go because I don't want the stress of the every other week check-ins when there's nothing I can do to change because you haven't done anything to change. Therefore, I'm just wasting time looking at a check-in. I don't have that type of time anymore, but I don't care about the money, but I, coaching still paying my bills. Nothing else is paying my bills right now. So I
I
have
get
to
you.
go.
Well,
There's
look at
these
it like
times-
this too. It's like if winners win and you can't follow your thing, you're not going to win. Which
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're not going to build the business for me, and you're just actually technically creating a bad reputation for me.
I mean, there's times, dude, where I've had athletes bring it up to me. They're like, hey man, in these past, the past month or so, the energy on your check-ins or you is different, or you haven't sent me a Loom video breaking things down. It's just like, and I'm like, well, dude, sometimes that's not me. If my energy is a little bit different, you've got to realize I can't do the work for you. So I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm still going to respond to you. But if time and time again, I'm trying to change up the way I'm communicating things so you can understand, I'm trying different options for you, etc. A lot of people struggle with taking ownership sometimes,
Totally.
including me, including myself. And it's something that I'm constantly trying to get better at.
I think that's
But
probably most people's downfall,
yeah,
the one biggest struggle, because it requires you to have to point a finger inwards, and that's really difficult to do. It's
very.
really difficult to do. Um, like for myself included, like you got to take ownership, and that's just so hard because to do it, somebody typically has to call you out on it, which then causes this
Friction.
strife between the two parties, and so eh, it's a tough situation. But man, once it actually happens, a person's either going to go, "Hey, I love you for doing that," or the relationship essentially can be somewhat severed. But
Yeah.
it's on them at that point, not necessarily you, because we're just trying to bring through truth and love. But that typically has to come through what we call, somebody called it the other day. Um, what did Mike White call it? The compliment sandwich. So basically, we give a compliment, we state the hard truth, we give a compliment.
Give a compliment, state the hard truth. Oh yeah, that makes
Like
sense.
you're sandwiching the compliment in between, or you're sandwiching the hard truth in between two compliments.
But like somebody says something and it's like, that it's wrong, but they like really believe it. But like, I love why you're thinking that. That's a really good thought process. I think it's because of this in this situation, but and then go back to a compliment. But here, I do think that with this, we'll be able to actually go here and here. And so I love that that's where we're going. It's just like, but otherwise, it's just like, we're just negative. So it's like positive, negative, positive. So that's like, we validate, we basically like call them out, and then validating again.
Do you think there's any world where calling out, validating, calling out is better?
Um, I don't think so. And the reason I would say that is because I don't get somebody on my side before I attack them.
Yeah. I see
So
what
we
you mean.
like get them closer with love and then make adjustment versus like from a distance cold. I'm just like, that's wrong. And immediately it's attacking. And so you're not now receptive to hear anything else past the attack.
Very true.
So it's like, for example, if your girl came to you and was like, babe, I love you, blah, 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 blah. But this is a lot better than her coming out and going, you're doing this, this, and this, but I love you.
Yeah. Very true.
So it's like softening them up to lay the blow to then build them back up.
For sure. That makes sense.
Boys, I gotta hop off.
For
Yes,
sure,
sir.
man.
Some good business stuff today. Appreciate you guys, man.
Yes. Dude, that was a wonderful podcast.
Is anybody going to be at the Charlotte?
Yeah.
No, I will not.
When is that? April.
Easter weekend?
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a show that weekend.
Cool. I'll be there.
Question for you boys. So I was at the Arnold, and I totally forgot about this to talk about it last week. But Taylor, I'm pretty sure you know who this is, but Paul Barnett. Okay, do you know who Paul Barnett is, Mike?
I've heard the name.
So Paul Barnett's
name.
involved with like Vigorous Steve and some of those guys, and he's
PED education and stuff.
Yeah, he does a lot of PED education. He was asking me about like just business stuff because he heard that we have our podcast. He has owned 4 different businesses in the past, and he was like, dude, if you guys ever want somebody to come on to talk about business and stuff, I'd be glad to come on, happy to come on. If you guys want to have guests on, would you guys want to? I mean, it doesn't have to be him. I think he's somebody that like, he's very smart, not just with gear and stuff, but he's a really, really smart individual, and I think he would have some stuff to offer. But
For sure.
I think
IFBB Pro retired tech CEO.
Yes.
Cool.
Paul Barnett, baby.
He has a pretty good podcast himself.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if he came on. I've been on his podcast, and I like the way he articulates things, asks questions, and delivers feedback. He's great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet, man. But anyway, boys, you guys have a great rest of your weeks. Everybody listening and watching, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We appreciate you a ton. Go support the boys. Go use our codes. Go sign up at Morph and get your gear. I mean, your testosterone. And go hire AR so you can start making some fucking money. And then if you want to get jacked and turn pro, hire your boy right here. Anyway, I just thought, but anyway, no, we appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much. We're out.
Peace.
We can make it happen.
That would be awesome.